And it's good evening, or good morning, or whatever it is in the part of the world. And this is just a bit of a tour of the hardware. There's a lot of hardware on here. Some of them, all these from running exploits over what's been the last 12 years. 2013 was well, 12 technically was the start of the journey. But might as well go for a bit of a tour. We've in the past I've gone through race bibs, but since then house moves and damage has caused them to be lost. But let's go through a lot of them, try and go through and see if there are any stories about them. Because some of them have been linked to videos before, so feel free to have a look at them. We'll start with this one. Now this is a Sydney Half Marathon. This was from This is the 20th anniversary of the Sydney Marathon. This would have been a couple of years ago. And of course, I'd point that out because the next time I'm running Sydney will be the Sydney Marathon itself, and it is a major. Never have thought that, but there you go. One of the Rocky River runs, local event. It would have been from a couple. It would have been from 23. One of the 9 Melbourne marathons. This one's the 2019 medal. This one would have been, it would have been one of the 4 hour 30 runs. So I did all right in that day. Alongside of that, if we just move it around, it's the Wangaratta Marathon in 2020. Tough day. Little did I know, not long after that, the world would shit itself. One of the 2019 Point to Pinnacle. I can't remember if that was one of the curtailed ones or not, but the 25th anniversary race. There is a plan to return there again. The City to See no longer exists. This is that was a Melbourne race, I believe, from Sunday. It's 2016. So that race no longer exists. It was only there for a couple of years. It was trying to replicate the City to Surf in Melbourne. It didn't really work. Pretty important one, this one. This was the second of the Auckland Marathon, the second Auckland Marathon finisher. This would have been 2022, which when it was absolutely pissing down rain. That video is in my collection. The plan is to return there this year. We'll make sure everything is done in the middle of the year. Everything's organised in the middle of this year. 2018 Melbourne. This was a slow time. I'll get to 2018 Auckland in a moment, but this was one of the slower times that I did. That day was a hot day. I had a bit of a physical meltdown. Sydney Half Marathon 2015. This was the half marathon there. The first time I ran the half marathon there. That was a pretty good one. 2014 Point to Pinnacle. So the 25th anniversary one was 2019. 2014 Point to Pinnacle, which I think was the second or third one. That went up the hill. Now this City to South one, this race folded basically within 3 years of starting. Again, much like the City to Sea, this was the Brisbane equivalent to try and get the equivalent of City to Surf. It's run by the same company, but unfortunately that no longer exists. 2019 Sydney Half Marathon. Nice, pretty easy run there. They love to have their little spinner belts just to make it look nice, doesn't they? This is Canberra 2015. This was, I believe, this was the first. No, this was a marathon finish. So this was a 42k finisher. It's 42k. Only one of a couple of times I finished the 42 in Canberra. Same with this one. This one was 2014. And it's rare I got the tabs. I don't put the tabs in the back of them these days because I find as though they're a bit of a waste of money. That's another Rocky River run one. It's another local one. Another little City to See one. This was from 13? I can't read it. Can't really read that. It says 13, yeah. So the other one was from 16. So I only ran that twice. Rebel Run Sydney. Now that was from 2013 at Sydney Olympic Park. It was I ran a half marathon there. They had doubts over that race because there were bushfires in the area. The finish line was in the Olympic Stadium. It was not long after I ran my first Melbourne Marathon, so not much else to report from that one. This was a 50k race in 2019, the 50k Ultra in Canberra. No longer run, unfortunately. It was a good little event, but yeah, 6:16. So yeah, it was a good little time. Cadbury Marathon 2022, and this is really the secondary prize for a lot of finishers. The medal's nice, but the sponsor's product they get at the end of the race is a lot better. I have run that. I've tried that again. I think I might try that again if the timing allows again, but we're not sure when. This is part of the haul from the Treble Breakable Buster event in 2019. That's the 5k medal, of course. In those, the problem with those Port Macquarie events is after the race, you're trying to haul your medals through town back to your motel room. You're carrying 4 medals around your neck, and it feels like your neck's going to break. Gold Coast Running Festival. That's next weekend for those playing along. I did the 10k there the week after I did the 50k in Canberra in 2021. Finish line was in the Gold Coast Titans Stadium at Robina. They have a 30k race there, which is their long race. It's a 3/4 marathon. I'm not exactly sure how I saw them over. I think this might have been last year's medal. Yeah, this was last year's Canberra Marathon medal. Of course, this year I got injured again. But last year I managed to make it to the finish line. Last year's Point to Pinnacle medal. Again, planning to be back for this year. Be the last event for the year, and nice. It's always a fun day out, as you know. There's a video for that if you want to check it. Now this one, the Chevron City to Surf. Now this no longer runs a half or a full marathon. This 2016 would have been a full marathon. They only run a 12k event these days. It's a rough equivalent of what they have in Sydney, although it's run by a different company. This Canberra Marathon medal, I'm not sure whether this would have been last year's perhaps. I'm not sure. The Orange Marathon, did that once last year. Underestimated the course. It's very hilly, so I ran it way too hard and then ended up being amongst the last finishers. 2022 Melbourne Marathon. Yeah, finished around the 5-hour mark. It was a nice cruisy day. But I had injuries leading up to that. This Gold Coast Fun Run, you may have seen the Gold Coast Running Festival medal before. That's exactly the same as the other one. I did the 10k at that time. They only had 10.5. It was just a very small event. It was a very early on event. The 2016 Gold Coast Marathon. Good time there. Did have a good time. 4:15. That was actually a pretty decent time. And later that year, the Melbourne Marathon of 2016 were around 4:32. I treated that as a victory lap because, as everyone knows, I'm a Western Bulldogs fan. They won the grand final a few weeks earlier. So I treated that as a victory lap, 42k victory lap, and pressure was off and times were there accordingly. I don't think Twilight Run Festival exists anymore. I'm just trying to think if this was... Now, there were 2 Twilight Runs. I think this would have been the one from Wynnum. I'm not sure that exists anymore. It was a Saturday night run. Another City to Surf 2015 marathon finisher. So I struggled to get inside 4:20 for those. It's just frustrating. 2015 Point to Pinnacle. That would have actually been close to one of the ones that was curtailed. Had to go there and back because of weather. 2016 equivalent. There's another one, so I've got a few of them. Pleased to say that the medal for the City Bay actually did turn up a few weeks later. And it's a nice little medal too. I'm not going to be back this year because of timing issues. Timing is not great, but There it is, nice little movement. It's a nice big medal too. That's probably half the disappointment of them not having medals at the finish line. The 2019-21K, explanation of this, I had a bit of an injury leading into it basically from the South African trip, and I had a calf issue and I didn't think I would make it through the full marathon, so I transferred to the half marathon. I believe I've got a video of this one. This is part of the double I ran in 2023. I am scheduled to be back on the Gold Coast this year, so that's good news. Another Rocky River run, but this one's from 2017, so I only did the 10K then. Which year is this one? Gold Coast Marathon 2017. This was a 2017 finish. A little slow time. Yeah, 2017 City of Surf Half Marathon in Perth. So again, because I think I had a calf injury that year. Suffered while playing football, so I had to step back from the full to the half. 2017 Wangaratta. There's a nice one there. Now, yes, here's another ultra. 6:07. This was 2017. Completed the course in 6:07. It's not my fast time. My fast time was the next year. 2014 Melbourne, which is my fastest Melbourne. As you can see, 3:56. Fastest time ever. Probably won't get to those times again. May say I'm selling myself short, but anyway, we'll see how we go. We keep going further down. It's another half marathon at at Port Macquarie. I hope to return there probably next year, if timing allows. There's 2019 Wangaratta, finished that, did well. Gold Coast. This was my second ever marathon, 4:01. This was 2014. Second ever marathon, 4:01. I had a picture or two on the Gold Coast bulletin, doing some stretches. Now this is the 2023 double medal. You get one of these when you complete the half and the full in the 1 year. This is 2023's equivalent. The other City Bay medal. This was from 2013. Now this one's from 2013. It was only a 12K event. They hadn't done the half at that stage, so this was just a 12K. And after that, I actually registered for the Melbourne Marathon that year, and I had to be the Melbourne Marathon and stuff. I was planning to run the half was sold out, wasn't going to for a simple 10K. 2014 City of Surf, my fastest time ever at the City of Surf, 1:68:01. For a couple of years, it actually got me in the front group, like got me in the red group, so I went off just behind the elites. Another City to South. Now this one being the 2013 running. Now, if you recall correctly, 2013, don't worry about the 1:16 time. That was headlined because Kevin Rudd actually was taking part in the event, and it was about the time he was about to take over from Julia Gillard as Australian Prime Minister. Sounds topical because there's an election coming up in about 3 weeks' time. Another City to South. That's 2015. By that stage, there was basically no runners. Now this one caused a bit of controversy. 2015 City to Surf. They didn't exactly feel as though, because they tried to make it a run out loud series. Some people say it was a guitar pick. Other people said it didn't really reflect the City to Surf, and these were pretty much phased out after a year. 2017 Melbourne Marathon. Managed to finish this carefully in about 4:30. Yeah, 4:31. That was a good time. 2018 Point to Pinnacle. There's another good time there. What's this one? 1:10:51. That's our City of Surf again. 60:51 in Sydney. See, I'm running good times there. 60:51, 70:51 for 12K. That's pretty handy. It's another Point to Pinnacle one, 2017. Very heavy metal. This one. It's a very unique one. It's pretty heavy. You've seen the video on that one, the Cairns Half Marathon 2024. I ran this last year because I couldn't get an entry in the Gold Coast, but this year having an entry in the Gold Coast meant I could just enter that instead. This is 2015 Melbourne Marathon. Did a 4:18. 4:18, it was a pretty solid run. 2015 Gold Coast. So yeah, we'll finish these a few times. There's another Melbourne. It's another 4:18. Ah, this is the first one, 2013. First marathon finish, 2013 Melbourne Marathon, 4:18. First ever one. And yeah, had me hooked for life, it's fair to say. Another Port Macquarie one. This is the treble. Half marathon, 10k, 5k. Once again, looking to return next year. It's another City to Surf one next to it. This one was 2013 City to Surf. This was a bit of a bucket list actually. Run this in 2013. Did 7307. Sorry, 7307, which is again it's going along. Now this one. Well, they gave me this one as just as a participant in Gold Coast 50. I think this was a couple of years ago. Pulled up injured. I think it was a sympathy one. I'm not sure I really earned it, so I don't really want to show it off too much. This one's a pretty special one. 2018 Auckland Marathon. First overseas marathon. Ran at about 4:32 from memory. Very special because it's the first overseas marathon that I finished. There's 3 of them. I'm still got to put up the Singapore marathon one up on this ledge. Another ultra marathon one. This one was 2018. This was the one where I ran. I think it was just inside 6 hours. Some personal best time there. 2023 Gold Coast. Nice bling there. It's got a World Athletics label. It was a bronze label race. What's this one? No, that's just Run Down Under. That's a virtual club. Don't really worry too much about that. Although it's no less, these days I don't really worry too much about the medals. That's just being part of a club. Another one from the Backdraw Buster. This is 2019. So this one was to get for the break wall, and then the same type of medal. This was the half completion, so it's pretty much the same type, and there's a couple of others on here. The 2018 medal for 10Ks. I've got another couple of medals in there somewhere. Same place. This was another Rocky River run, 2018. Another local event. This is the 2017 City to Surf, which I really struggle at because of my calf issues. And apparently one of the drink stations thought I stunk. So, anyway. The 2018 Twilight Bay Run. Now, this was a run on a Saturday night at Wynnum. I don't think this exists anymore, but it was unique because it was a Saturday night race. So, ran it. I think it started about 5 o'clock. You ran a half marathon. You had a nice dinner out at Wynnum. I think though getting a train back was problematic because not because they weren't running, but because I think some of them clashed with river fire in the city. So it was a very busy night in the city. A couple from Port Macquarie 2018. That I think it's the 5k medal, and the line that's another buster. I'm still on the list. I've done 5 of them, so yeah, it's gonna be great. This is the 2018 Surf City to Surf. Struggled through that one. The problem with that course was the hills at the end. It was fairly flat for the first half, but then the hills at the end were just killer. 2019 Cairns Marathon. Now this was run in April that year. They then moved it to September. Last year, of course, they ran it in its current time slot in July. This is, what's this one? 2022 Point to Pinnacle. It's a nice. They do it very well there. Another treble breakwall buster medal. This was a 10k. We've got another City to Surf one. So this one was another marathon 2019. They're all very similar. Makes it a bit easy. But this was 2019. At 2019, I ran the fastest time there. I finally got under 4:25 there. So I was really pumped. This was another 21k from the Gold Coast. This would have been 2022, and next to it's the double from that. So 63.3k's. Once again, I'm one of those people sign up to do the double. Underneath, we're going to the bottom. See, these are the 2022 these are the 2022 ones from Port Macquarie. The kangaroo. Underneath it, we've got the animals here. And see how heavy they are and see how loud they are. You've got the break wall buster there. And behind that, there's a 5K. I think this one's a 5K. It's Chop and Chill had the... Yeah, Chop and Chill sponsored the... And I think the 10K is here somewhere. No, that's the 5K there. That was obviously the 10K. And the other medals down there... Oh, there's another 42-kilometre Gold Coast. So there's another 42. There's the 42 from the 2022 race I showed earlier. And then there's other ones for football which are irrelevant to the thing. So that's pretty much a summary of all the hardware. My goodness, it's been 21 minutes. I can't believe it's been a lot of haul. Some people do it for the medals. Some people do it for the camaraderie. Some people do it to test their fitness, prove a point. For some, it's all of the above. Hopefully, having seen all them, average Joe can get all those medals and keep going, or hopefully it may inspire someone. Who knows?